Although they did start working with the Beals revolver in the year of 1856, it would not be the same as what you think of the Remington New Model Army today.
And if you're like me, you're into the history stuff, the books, you like the guns are worth their weight in gold. Because the gun, it's fun to shoot, it's fun to point with, but without the story there, if you're a history person like I am, without the story, it really doesn't mean all that
Ruger Security 9.
Can I redraw?
You already looked?
No.
You sure
Right.
you did?
Now on 3.
Another pro, at least a pro to me, is these guns are kind of a project. I like to look at them as I'm getting an advanced kit build in the mail whenever I get one. So it's a project that you can go down the road and you can either leave it as
Most people believe that the Walker was Colt's first extent to a very, very large pistol, but it wasn't. This was. This is Colt's 1839 to patent firearms revolving carbine pistol. It is massive.
Hello, everybody. We are back. Duke still muted. All right. So, as you can see, we have the normal crowd here, plus Sheldon and Plowboy. So, we're very excited to have that going on.
Indeed.
It's been a while. Sheldon's just kind of become a member of the crew here, too. So, but anyway, we're going to get into no real particular subject tonight. Let me drive through a few of these comments. AR American said good evening. Diane Houston said good evening all. Jas Epic Hunter said gonna talk about Cap and Ball's post to Facebook about the India pistol that blew up at the Proof House. Not gonna get into that because Ethan wasn't feeling well tonight, so he's not here. But there has been a lot of research done into that picture that involved, I believe, on Ethan's end about 800 different people at this point, and you will be seeing a video about that. It may not. Ethan's also talked to the Cap and Ball channel, and it may not be that it all adds up to the same thing as once people thought it did, but that will be coming up, I think, eventually. Ethan, maybe get a video out on that. Louisiana.
I have a feeling I missed this conversation. I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
It gets deep, brother. We don't want to
Sounds
go
like
into
it.
here.
Okay.
Louisiana Gray said, good evening, all. Carrie Stottlemyre said, good evening, everyone. Doug Duke says, glad you're back. Kodak Tackman says, evening. Turkey Creek says, evening. Or Turkey Creek here. Louisiana Gray said, present and waiting. And Jeremy P. Gerard Washak said, howdy. Jeremy P. said, how far? Well, David W. Kent says, evening, folks. AR American said, wow, you actually got Plowboy to come on. He's a busy man. Kent said, evening, AR American. Jay Wheeler said, what's up, people, or party people? Martin Kavanaugh said, good day from New Zealand. And Classic Guns Today said, good evening. And here we go. First of all, I want to thank Plowboy for making a video that I've watched over and over for the past few months that said it was talking about what hat was best for the apocalypse, the most important decisions in life. One of the reasons I stepped into this about a month ago, and I'm still looking for the perfect hat. This may not be it yet.
I like it.
So what's the perfect hat for you?
For me, it's definitely the and I'd hate for the apocalypse to come in the dead heat of Alabama summer and all that humidity. It would be the pale Pale Rider, the preacher hat, whatever you want to call it. It's Miller Hat Company that I've got. That's that Pale Rider clone.
Yeah. You only put it on when going to the zoo and whatnot.
Yeah, occasions.
That's good stuff. What's your hat for the apocalypse, Dick? Your little grizz?
Either the little grizz or the little mountain man hat that's curled up in the front. Actually, I might pick that one just because it's curled up. It just looks cooler.
I'm pretty sure I know what Snappers is. It's the only one he ever wears.
Only one I ever wear. When the thing falls apart, I'll still be wearing it.
Sheldon, do you have your hat picked for the apocalypse?
Not really. I ordered a new hat, but we'll see how it goes.
What'd you get?
It's one of those straw hats from Townsend's.
Oh, I see.
Ah.
Good time of year for that.
I don't know. Today this morning was like 30.
Yes, but you're up there. It definitely wasn't 30 in Kansas and Oklahoma, and I bet it wasn't 30 in Northwest Alabama either.
Nor wasn't.
I always heard that the Dakotas are cooler than everywhere else, but I didn't know they were that much cooler than everywhere else.
It surprised me too.
Did you? You had to put on something a little more than that breechcloth, huh?
No, that breeze felt good.
That's what he's coming down to do a living history deal. And Duke's like, he says, I'm in Nebraska. I'll be there pretty quick. And Duke's like, you probably won't. He said, just make sure you're already in your clothes ready to go. And Sheldon said he's not wearing his breechcloth across 3 states. They might look at him. I said, they laughed at Duke and I in the gas station. I bet they'd have a wonderful time with you.
Yeah,
That's funny.
Oh man, I had those reenactors, those South Union Mills boots on when I went in that gas station right off the bat. Walked off of it because them hobnail, they don't have hobnails. They're just, you know what I'm talking about, Plowboy. And I stepped one step off of that rug.
You got to learn to do the straight up and down.
You got to learn how to walk again. Oh. Yeah, you haven't done that. You haven't reacted in quite a while, have you, Plowboy?
It's 2003 or 2004, so you might as well say it's almost like I never did it. But I have worn my brogans with the nails in it into the Walmart and a few other places, and I'm here to tell you, yeah, if you don't set your feet down right and pick them up right, everybody's going to be looking at you.
Because you'll be on the floor.
Be sliding and thing else.
Just the leather is bad enough, but you get the hobnails and the heel plate, it's worse. If you're on anything besides carpet, well, take it back. With the leather, if you're on anything, they slip and slide on everything. But with hobnails, you got to be on carpet or on grass because otherwise it.
Yeah.
Done the splits.
Yeah, I've been wearing those about every time I'm not working on something. I've been wearing those hard sole plain moccasins. Good grief, those things wear easy. They're nice for not extended periods of. I'm not have to walk around in them for like 4 days at a stretch, but you know.
Mine, I've yet to fix mine up. So.
Yeah, you had a few rocks in here.
They got cast aside. I went back to my sneakers.
Went back to the white man's moccasin.
Yeah. Because now these are falling apart too.
They're a little harder to sew back together, though.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they made duct tape for.
I bet he could. Oh, so have you got that flat top yet, Plowboy?
No, not really after it. That's just something that I do want one day. Right now, I've done so much moving, shaking, and reacquiring things to get everything like I wanted it. I really don't have the stomach for ordering anything else or going on another gun hunt right now. I'm just going to take a break, enjoy what I got for a while.
Yep. I've been into them muzzle-loaded shotguns here lately, and I got one, and then I just keep looking at Gunbroker. Oh, there's a 10 gauge. Oh, there's a 12 gauge. Oh,
An opening gun broke. I don't need to look at.
yeah. I finally got Caleb to sell some of those because for years he collected World War I, World War II surplus, and and some other stuff. He had an M1 carbine that he'd give years ago, like $300-$400 for, and I finally told him the other day, I said, ain't never going to shoot any of that stuff again. Why don't you got 300 guns leaning in the corner in here, just collecting dust. I said, why don't you sell a few of those? Oh, he never would. Well, he decided the other day he might want to. And good grief if he didn't make back his money on them investments. He gave $400 for an M14 many years ago, $300 for that. Those guns were bringing buy it now $1,000 on Gunbroker and just gone like that.
Oh, so you sold the M1 carbine?
One of them, the Universal,
Thanks
the
for letting
cheaper
me
one.
know.
I did. I gave you a list of all of them that was for sale.
No, you didn't give me a list. You told me about one.
I'm pretty sure I texted you a list.
No.
Maybe. Well, to be honest, that one sold so fast that it was sold before I could tell you.
See, you guys need to make an 11 bang bang
We do.
like Gunbroker so people know exactly where to go to find the gun for sale.
Can't say that out loud.
Oh, the snapper, snap it.
But yes, if you do go to that certain website, there is an 11 bang bang. But I don't think there's anything on it right now because everything sold so fast. It's kind of nice to be able to go. If you go to YouTube and type in this certain thing, you might be able to see what this does, and people kind of eat that up. I'm kind of in the mood to part with a bunch of cap and ball revolvers that I've already done videos on. So Duke got one, and I think there's two more going to come up eventually.
Yeah, just let me know what you got.
Oh, you already have one of all the Piettas. That's what I'm going to let go of first, the Piettas.
Yeah.
I want to give you one of them their pocket polices. So I have the whole set.
We don't have an original pocket police, though.
I know, but you do have an interesting one I like.
Yeah, he does.
Oh, well, I guarantee you right now that if you were to talk to the right person, you could probably end up with it pretty cheap.
Oh, the one I'd be after is that Spiller and Burr.
Oh.
I don't know. That was Caleb's. I don't know if he'd part with it or not.
Oh, okay.
He kind of liked that one. Them Spiller and Burrs fit your hand really, really nice.
Yeah, they do.
Did you ever have a Spiller and Burr Plowboy?
Oh, I sure didn't. There was a few things that I wanted, like a Leech and Rickman and a few others. There was several that I wanted that I'll say that I never have, but truthfully, I just haven't yet. Really, can't ever tell. I intend to get a bunch more muzzle loading and black powder stuff in the future, and that's saying something because I owned those for decades. I got into black powder stuff. It was in the mid '90s. And I kept them for so long, and I guess it's just been since 2020, 2021, somewhere in there is when I let go of my last, well, it might have been 22 when I let go of my last muzzle loader. But it wasn't, then I said, well, it's just temporary, and that's the way I'm going to keep it, it's just temporary.
What was your go-to? Was it that JP Murray?
I liked it pretty well. Honestly, it probably really was. Because as much as I like that 3-band infill at Pedersoli, it's still, I don't think it's accurate. And it sure wasn't as handy as that JP Murray, that JP Murray being a lot shorter.
Yeah. Boy, I bet if you went to price one of them Pedersolis today, it'd be sticker shock.
I can tell you everything is.
That's what.
Yeah.
I was into these shotguns, and I seriously thought for a while I just wanted a Pedersoli 10-gauge side-by-side muzzle-loading shotgun. I can buy 3 originals in nice condition for the cost of that. They usually sell for about $500 for a good condition original. Wow.
I think it's the only thing you can still buy pretty cheap is a muzzle loading shotgun that actually hasn't gone just through the roof.
Yeah, well, you can't buy them cheap from modern replica makers.
No, not modern replicas. They're ridiculous. Even the cheapest brands are ridiculous for muzzle loading.
It's up to $1,500 for the 10-gauge.
I think it's $1,800 now.
The originals are not too expensive at all. They're like dime a dozen.
I bought that 15 bore that I got, that really fancy one for $375.
And that's a really nice gun.
Yeah, there's
That
a
is a really nice gun.
10 gauge that's a WM Moore 10 gauge right now. It's like mint condition. Buy it now, $4.99 on there right now. So whoever's in the chat, go over there and buy it so I'm no longer tempted.
The only reason I think. Go ahead, Pablo.
Well, I was just expounding on that. I said, somebody go buy it, please.
I kid you
I
not.
don't really. Go ahead.
That was all I was saying.
I've always wondered why the reason the originals are so cheap, and I think it's down to the fact that most of them have Damascus barrels. People are scared of them.
Yeah, they're not scary.
They're not. You just have everybody with their horror stories of, oh, don't trust it, it's just going to blow up in your face. And
It's one of those, you got to know what you're doing.
Well, yes, but you can still spend $20,000, $30,000 right now and buy a Damascus barrel Purdy right off the line, and they'll guarantee you for smokeless.
Yep. If they ring, you're fine. If it rings, it's fine.
But it's not. You shouldn't shoot smokeless. I'm not saying that. I'm talking about a brand new.
Yeah, don't do that.
That's completely tested out. But they even make Damascus lock plates for those now.
Ooh.
And they look cool.
Well,
But, you know, them Purdy's, $50,000 for a shotgun. Why not?
Well, that'd be kind of cool to have somebody make a Damascus single action army. Make it out of completely Damascus blocked and then milled out single action armor, just to see for the fun of it. Be pretty.
Back in the day, go take a look on Gunbroker right now. You'll find a number of them for. And I'll just throw out that my favorite Gunbroker dealer is Lock, Stock, and Barrel. I've used them for forever, and so they usually have something. Let's see.
And their layaway plan makes it easy
They don't have
for the
it anymore.
expensive stuff. Oh, they got rid of it?
They dumped the layaway plan last month. Now they give you a 14-day payment period, which is better than 7. So it still works out. I called.
But I mean, that makes it a little bit more expensive on the big buys.
They said it was just too much of a headache.
Well, and with the market right now, with the economy, it's like you can't really put stuff on layaway.
Wow. It makes sense, though. And the price of everything going up just crazy. Like, they're probably losing money on that, just the fact. If you had somebody on layaway for a long period of time, the gun's value would have shot up quite a bit.
Value would have. That's no joke. I started buying trapdoors 2 years ago for $600. They were $600-$700 a piece. Holy cow! Just looking at the price of them things now, it's insane.
I saw a Shicker stock from just going back to I'd say 2022-ish, looking at single action armies. You could find a original first gen for $3,000, and now, not even close. Anything that's decent, that's not completely destroyed, it's hard to find for like 5 and 6.
Yeah,
it's insane.
Way out of my price range.
They're out of my price range now.
That's funny. When it comes to handguns, you can buy a lot of clones for the price of an original. When it comes to long guns, it's the exact opposite.
It is weird, isn't that? The originals are usually cheaper than the replicas when it comes to long guns.
Yeah,
you think it'd be opposite because there's a lot more material there.
Yeah, you don't know how lucky I feel that I came home with 3 guns from Kansas for less than what I would have paid for a Walker.
One.
Well, let's put it this way. He put in his order a long time ago and had a few built. So
that's true.
That's one way to get through hard times these days. Let's see. Over here on the comment section. By the way, Sheldon, if you got something to say, shout out above us. You just have to talk over each other. It's just the way we do.
No, you guys are having a good convo going on.
Yeah, we don't do that. Hit the button when you want to talk bull crap.
Raise your hand. Raise your hand, guys.
Well, we wouldn't know if he raised his hand.
No, I'll just make sure to talk over Duke once he starts talking.
There you go.
That ain't very often. You're not going to get many opportunities.
Let's go anyway.
Let's see. Hayden Denver 10 said, Hello, AR American said the YouTube rules are so bad, don't know what you can say or show no more. Yeah, and they changed again 2 days ago.
Welcome to an election year.
Oh, I didn't hear about that. What all they changed now?
They just put out a big push over removal of safeties and manufacture of any kind of ammunition, which that doesn't. I'm not going to say anything, but I'm just waiting for them to say that building a load in a muzzle loader is manufacturing ammunition, because they will. You know they will. Ethan Real.
You know,
Go ahead.
I was watching just the other day. I mean, I was watching these those tribals in the Middle East making like 7.62 Tulkrib out of like AK casings, S7.62 by 39 casings. Those guys got a little process down.
Yeah, YouTube won't shut them down.
Oh no, no. Depends on where the gun is in the world is where it matters.
Well,
Yeah.
and they won't shut anything down to make them.
Yeah. We had a Rumble about a year ago, and it was just so difficult to maintain at the time because of all their password system and stuff. I let it go. So Ethan made a new Rumble 2 days ago, and turns out just before he did it, they made it where YouTube no longer allows you to sync your Rumble YouTube channel. So now we have to upload every video individually over there to it. But we are working on it. I don't know exactly what it's called, but I'm sure he'll announce it. It'd be nice to stream on Rumble. That would be a lot easier. Yeah, but as of the 18th, just so everybody's got YouTube channels are aware, as of the 18th, things changed again, and probably the biggest change they've ever done. And they promised to go hard on their new rules. So I don't know what it's going to take, but I always just expect to wake up and the channel be gone. So
Yeah.
Garza Vlog said, "Good evening. Rights are not tradition." He made a statement here that I would argue is not quite correct. He said Samuel Colt designed the first revolver an American woodshed at the age of 16. Go ahead, dude.
Well, he was playing around at a young age with guns. I know that. There's that story of his dad found him in the woods, tearing apart a gun, putting it back together. But I don't think he was 16 when he made that wooden. He was still a young man, but I think he was a little older than 16. Because he designed that after
He was already in France or whatever, right? Yeah, he came back from France on that sailing
He
trip.
was on that ship, working on that ship, the Corvo.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, I think he was a little bit older than that when he was, but the idea was in his head. The idea was there. It had been there for a while, but he carved that wood model.
And back then, you can just send your 16-year-old son on a ship to the other side of the planet. Nowadays, a 16-year-old can't learn the mechanics of something.
Yep.
Well, now they
Welcome to the world.
bicycle down the street without somebody griping about it.
Well, my argument to that would be that the revolver existed a long time before Colt did. He just perfected it.
That's
Well,
true.
in the modern world, they don't want you to even know if it's a boy at 16. They don't even want you to know if it's a boy at 16.
Mm-hmm.
World's retarded, man. World's gone straight retarded.
It has.
I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna say.
I feel like if I had a chance to have a time machine, I would leave
It's
and
kinda
never
like-
come back to this timeline.
It's kind of like it's so up in the air right now. If we're even going to be here tomorrow, don't even care.
Yeah.
Stay out of politics and all this. It's like I don't even.
At least we get to let people know how we feel, right, boys?
If they're going to kick us off, it'll be for some reason at least.
Yeah.
Oh. Has anybody here got an actual strike besides us yet? I mean, we've had like 3 of them, but they come and go.
I've got a couple warnings, but I've not had a strike.
I haven't got anything. That stuns me.
Well, yeah, I was actually able to reach out to someone, and when you get 100,000 subscribers, you get a representative. Well, I don't have a representative, but I was able to reach out to someone who was able to check, and he informed me that we have up to 8 complaints a week on our channel
And they're probably all one person. It wouldn't shock me if it was just one.
Somebody don't like us. I've always said that before.
Well, I think you and I have an idea.
Hopefully, we'll find you one day. Hopefully.
The snapper has the bat ready.
Now that I said
Indeed.
that, live stream, they'll be.
Oh, I'm sure.
What'd you
I
say?
don't-
I couldn't hear you.
Now that I've said that on this live stream, they'll pay more attention. I'll get some.
I would think that of all people, you would have the most haters, but I don't know.
I will do, and I'm sure I do. I just apparently I've got lazy haters.
Well, the question is, which haters are worse, the Yankees or the Remington fanboys? And
I think yours are the muzzle-loading forums guys there,
I think
Garrett.
that some of it is that. I do think so.
Some of them.
Revere 0311 said, "Evening, gents. Hi. Rights are not tradition." Said, "I have a ton of screen recordings showing a lot of it. I have a bunch of videos of me going through 6 months at a time through the comments of gun channels. 97% of them are all on or 0 like statistics. Quotes from the founders' definitions. Interesting. Back in the day, said, excuse me, I think YouTube plays favorites. There are people out here reloading ammo every day, and YouTube doesn't say or do anything, but others will show cutting one stick of brass in their band. I think I figured that out. I think it's literally, it's not so much what YouTube does, it's who your enemies are and who turns you in, who reports you.
Yeah.
And I don't know how we picked up such bad enemies or so many of them, but I always thought we were nice to everybody.
You're covering history. Apparently, that's a hard thing to justify.
Well, I mean, you like Colts, you like India muskets. You have a rebel.
Why the India muskets has got you? Honestly, I've never seen so many people hate.
All over that rebel flag thing too.
Oh yeah, that too.
When we had one of those shorts take off, that was just me talking about a Colt standing in front of that Rebel Drive flag. Oh my! I was sending those to Plowboy like every day just for laughing, because it's like I don't know. You must get them too, though. So
It'd be funny if you actually put the real Southern Rebel flag up. They probably won't even know what they're looking at.
They won't.
They won't.
I remember I got to using his one quote because everybody was like, "Well, don't you know this is the lost cause myth?" And I just got back to Plowboy and said, "Tell me about your righteous cause myth."
Yeah.
Oh, that gets them fired up now. That's probably why we have so many strikes.
Probably.
Oh.
Wait, did you?
I mean,
What?
Did you just blame that on me?
No, I think it's the general attitude, not necessarily what you said. Okay.
Like
AR American has us beat. He said, "I had 3 strikes and a channel removed." Yeah, I forgot about that.
That is true. All in like a day.
What were you saying, Sheldon?
Oh, the time I actually had back when I was in high school, I had a teacher tell me to shut up because I have a picture of me with my friend's rebel flag.
Yeah.
I was saying that, and he was from Jamaica, and he went on the whole thing. And I said, you guys didn't actually come to Jamaica, right? Oh.
You just tell them you've got a little bit of a built-in bias against the government anyway. So.
Yeah, nice thing is I can run my mouth on a lot of people.
Oh, you got a built-in excuse. Oh.
That's funny.
Oh man, that's why I get along so good with Sheldon.
I'd love to see the internal dialogue of some liberal white woman while you're talking to her. But yeah, can't answer at anything. That would be hilarious.
Mill Creek Range said that's crazy for someone to complain about you all. Revere said, "You mean the state of Georgia flag? LOL." Did you? I like the Alabama flag myself. I've flown that one on occasion. The blue.
It is nice.
There's something to me that the Arkansas flag is just a very beautiful flag.
I have to stop and think about which one that one is.
It's the diamond, the red, blue, and white with the diamond, and it's got Arkansas in the middle.
Yeah.
I think, if I remember right, it's got the stars too.
Well, I think Plowboy made an Independence Day video with that flag one day, and I thought, I'm going to have that one of all.
That one with Alabama secession flag that flew over the Capitol down there in Montgomery. Between the time that Alabama seceded and the time that the Confederate government was formed, it was the Alabama independence flag. It's actually two-sided. I still got it in the house. I fly it once in a blue moon. And I really like that one too, but it only really flew over the capital of Alabama for a short period.
Yeah.
But it states the perfect, feeling of people at the time. Any Ohioans today.
Well, and as someone who reveres and loves everything about our independence movement on this continent, and I'm a firm believer I shouldn't be going into all this stuff. Anyway, I like it.
Who cares? Go for
I like it.
That's the name of the game. The right to choose your own destiny, to form associations, disassociate with harmful people. Ain't that the cornerstone of everything we were about?
Yep.
Apparently.
No geographical limitation on that. No minimum square acreage.
Yep. As you so eloquently put it before, the Declaration of Independence is a secessionist document.
Yep. We are a nation built on rebellion. It is the American blood.
Boy, don't it feel good to just say what you want?
I've been doing it.
Anyway,
watch all of our channels will be down by tomorrow.
Like I said, who cares?
It'd be worth it though. Honest to God, it's worth it now. Who cares? You're gonna take it anyways.
The only channel I really care about right now is Tales of the Trail. So
Sheldon's safe.
Yeah. Yeah, you're safe.
I mean, I got a couple of strikes on my channel. That was because I like a music video or something with a song, and they're like, "Hey, you don't own that?" Like, yeah, no shit.
How come isn't the most copyrighted up stuff on YouTube is the native music?
That is true. I can't find any free versions of it.
Just record your own, Duke. I believe in you.
Yeah, really go over well. Some white guy going,
Just pull up that Cherokee, though.
That would be good.
Duke's gonna be making drum skins, and
I thought about that at one time, but it takes a lot of money and a rawhide for one drum, so I just haven't brought myself to do it. But
just get you one of those that drums.
That one politician lady got away for a long time. She's only won like 1,000 or 10,000, so you should be fine.
Yeah, I'm more.
She got her free college out of it.
Oh, okay. Cool Hand said it's hard to. Okay, yeah, he said that must be the 19th century assault rifles. Yeah, it must be.
Yeah.
Mill Creek said, "Oh yeah, he's out in Kansas City." Okay. You're absolutely correct, Snapper. They only know one Confederate flag. AR American said, "The day I see any." I ain't even gonna put that in my head. Arizona Frontiers, amen, brother. Back in the day, said Hawaii state flag is kind of a sad flag, but my Washington state flag ain't much better. Harper's Ferry versus Springfield. Pick one. As far as a company in 1850, I have to take Harper's Ferry because it's it's the place of innovation. It's the better of the two. I love Springfield Armory, but pre-Civil War, Springfield Armory couldn't hold a candle to what Harper's Ferry could do. Springfield was not built on water. Harper's Ferry was built on water. So I have to pick Harper's Ferry. I mean, just look at what they did. The Hall rifle, as you know, all those others, they came up with the innovation of the basically their version of the Burton bullet was came up with in Harper's Ferry, to the best of my knowledge. They were innovating, always trying to get a rifle out, this or that. They came up with the 41 before, Springfield did. Springfield was better at mass production, especially after the war, because Harper's Ferry didn't exist. So I have to say Harper's Ferry, I go with Harper's Ferry all the way before Civil War. at the Civil War. It doesn't matter.
That's a location I'd love to go to one day, by the way, to where the plant used to be. It's a pretty neat area.
You have to have a pretty good set of books, Revere, because I have a hard time finding anything on Harper's Ferry. I mean, I know the books that are out there. I haven't bought them yet, but there's not near as much information as Springfield.
What's funny is Harper's Ferry was designing so much, and Springfield, they basically took the Charleville musket and built that
Copied it.
for over 100 and some years. They just kept changing it a little bit at a time. But that last trapdoor that's issued is basically that Charleville that has evolved over the same
A really modified Charleville.
No change is really in that stock except for the length of the front barrel band, really. No changes in that stock basically from 1795 to 1893.
That's why I was hoping that Garrett, when he was going to do the trapdoor series, had just done the Springfield series and started with the Charleville, because it's
And just stayed with the Charleville. That would have been funny.
Yeah, I'll go back and do that eventually because I do have a lot of the information on it. But if you're going to do a series like that, you've got to be interested in it. It's got to be something you care about, or else you'll do one episode and be like,
yeah, it's just it basically it's like the single action army is just the 50.
Hey.
No, reality. Patterson is
Yeah, it is. It's a 51 Navy with a top strap and
yeah.
Well, yeah, because I mean the 1860 is just a 51 Navy that's been bored out a little bit and made bigger. Yeah.
That was why I told Ethan, I said, I want you to do, because there came a little controversy about this series. Some point somebody was gonna I remember texting Plowboy, somebody's got to put a blue uniform on for this, and it ain't gonna be me. So Ethan was like, I don't want to wear that. I don't want to do this and that. And I told him, I said, throw that to your shoulder. What's it feel like? Oh, that feels like one of those Charleville muskets. I said, yeah, it's just a continuation of the stuff you love all the way through.
10 minutes later, he's out buying a blue uniform.
Well, it wasn't 10 minutes later. It was a lot of work trying to get Duke, tell him what he needed and everything. But
Oh yeah. It was like, oh, I'm in the military. I'll be able to do this real quick and easy. I say, present arms. Or no, I said order arms, which is,
and he does it the modern way.
With the gun,
The modern way is so different.
on
Yeah.
the ground at your foot. I was like, order arms, and he goes. I'm like, no, that's not even present arms. That's port arms. So it was like 10 minutes, and I'm sitting there. I'm like, well, at least marching hasn't changed much.
I don't know. Have you seen the modern military lately?
Well,
Ethan?
right face, left face, about face, they're still the same.
Well, the thing was, when he did that, we spent a lot of money on that uniform. I can't remember who it was we went through, but we went through high quality as you could go. And there's a lot of hand stitching in that. But
But you have to, I do have to give it to you, it would be extremely embarrassing to be in the military and then buying a U.S. uniform from back in the day and have gotten it wrong. That would be really embarrassing.
But the thing was, he bought the exact same uniform minus the stripes and Confederate at the same time. And it hangs downstairs on a fancy little. I noticed the blue uniform goes in a wad in the corner, and that butternut uniform sits on a perfect little T downstairs, all hung up. He just hadn't put it on yet.
Because you got that one from Quartermaster Shop.
Yeah, before they
closed.
Yeah.
And they were the higher end of the mainstream. So, I mean, when you're on the stitch counter level, they're sitting at about a 6.
Yeah, it was as far as mainstream, it was as good as we could go.
Yeah, Quartermaster was one that's what we went with up at Fort Laramie, because it was the best of the mainstream.
What'd you use, Plowboy?
The blockade runner out of War Trace, Tennessee.
Yeah,
and their jean cloth was very good, for Confederate impression, of course. I can't remember who the maker was, but it was the people that they ordered it from, the people who made the material itself. I do remember that it was someone who was very reputable and very did a good job on it. And I still, I kept up with mine. I still have the same pants and shirt and several other things, from 1998. They're still in great shape.
You've worn them in a few videos.
Yeah, and I'll wear them again one day.
I can't wait till you get another muzzle loader and you break out that uniform again. That's always cool.
bound to happen.
Yeah, I noticed you had one of those on the square. What's yours? Is it a flannel plaid shirt, or or is it cotton?
The one that I've got, shoot up. I'm not even sure what it's made of. I know the sleeves feel like cotton, but of course through here the printed section on it is something else.
Yeah, I noticed it's basically the same as Sheldon's South Union Mills shirt, just with a different coloring.
Hey, you know, I used to know all of the patterns and everything that was made after.
Yeah.
And it's been a long time.
Yeah,
Is there any company that makes?
I wanted it in green, but they don't make it in green.
Yeah, South Union Mills doesn't have many options for that. I noticed.
Is there any company that makes an identical 100% replica of an original?
Of original what? Clothing?
Clothing, yeah.
South Union Mills pretty close.
Yeah. Now some of their stuff they have other people make it. Like the shirts are.
They're made by Amish.
Yeah, the shirts come in
Ooh.
the Amish group. I've been waiting to order some shirts from them because I want shirts that's got front pockets on them. And most of their stock they've got now for like the 1860s doesn't have shirts unless I go with a flannel Union shirt. And it's a little bit pricey for me. But yeah, the other stuff they got is built off. They're built right off original patterns to the original specs. So if anybody out there does reenacting, if you buy something from South Union Mills, just remember they're based off the waistline, which is around your belly button, natural waist, not the actual where your pants are nowadays. So when you order a jacket, you better get a corresponding pair of pants to go with it, or your belly's going to be hanging out about that much.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm still waiting. I ordered that Excelsior line vest and pants almost a month and a half ago. I hope it gets in stock pretty soon because I paid for it, but hopefully they'll ship it pretty quick.
Oh, they haven't shipped that yet?
No, I'm about to
email him. I had to email him to remind him about some of that trade cloth I ordered because I ordered one, never got shipped. I ordered a second one, it got shipped right away. So I emailed him like, "Hey, what happened to this order?" Oh, my bad.
I'm sure he's very busy, but he's very easy to deal with too, though.
Yeah. He's a great guy, but he runs that business as kind of a side gig. Mm-hmm. So sometimes when it comes to shipping things, you sometimes have to remind him.
And I'm right now in the market, and I haven't got it yet, but I wanted a sack coat really bad, just a black broadcloth sack coat. That's another thing. I've been watching Plowboy's videos for years, and every fall he breaks out the poncho and the frock and the coat, and I'm always like, man, I gotta get one of those. But I don't know if I want to go with the full frock. I think I'll go with the sack coat, just be a little easier.
The shell jacket's what I reenacted with back, way back when, and I didn't buy that jean cloth frock until sometime after 2010. Sometime after 2000, they might have been 15, 16, 17. I bought that frock coat, that jean cloth. But now before that, I wore shell jackets, Columbus Depot or whatever,
When you break that thing out every year, that's usually when I start listening to that song about the train robbery.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the Snap-on truck train robbery. But anyway, I was just going to say, though, South Union Mills, the one thing they got going is their quality of wool. As Sheldon can tell you, it's very expensive, but it is the best stuff, I think.
Yeah. And depends on, what you get in the wool for. Like the pants, I've noticed that they wear out pretty fast because the pants aren't lined. So it's wool on wool. I think next time I order pants from him, I'm going to have him put in a rider's seat in them so I get a little bit more life. But when it comes to the jackets and stuff, the wool is perfect for that.
How is that wearing that wool down there in Alabama, Plowboy?
Well, once you get used to it, it's not that bad. But if you've had your AC on at all in your truck,
you're screwed.
It's over.
Before a reenactment, if it was summertime down here, I would. Of course, I think back then I hardly ever used AC in a vehicle anyway. So you sure would? I wouldn't use it for a week or 2 weeks. I know that, and just get
acclimated,
used to the climate.
And of course, I didn't have to do a lot of marching on foot, but I was wearing that same stuff while I was taking care of my horse.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot you hauled horses all over the countryside, didn't you?
Yep. Sure did.
I bet you that'd be a whole different deal to try to get that accomplished in our reenacting circles today. I bet
Maybe
you
it is.
all kinds of regulation.
Yeah, I bet it's got even worse than what it was. But it was a lot of
Duke
extra.
can tell you.
We got to invest in Sheldon a trailer, but not for horses. He needs a TV. I've tried to get you the money raised on these live chats. So far, nothing's come in yet, Sheldon.
Yeah.
Got to get you one of those GoFundMes.
All right.
That'd be pretty cool, though. See a full size teepee. That'd be really cool.
Just go down to Ted Turner's ranch, tell him you're native, and you're going to come down there and get some buffalo.
Oh yeah, you're 10 minutes out from my house. Just go down there and get you a few.
There's a little canyon about 2-3 miles, and they just got some Yellowstone bison, and they keep escaping.
We can
Sure
fix
they do.
that problem, huh? Let me get to a few comments over here. Let's see. Arizona Frontiersman said Rise and Fall of Confederacy is an excellent read. He was a brilliant thinker and very relevant to what's going on today. AR American said, catch y'all later. Gotta go to everyone. Hit that like button before the show is over. See you, AR. Carrie
See you, buddy.
Stallmeyer said, got my Woods Runner last week. Just need to rust blue the metal, stay in the old wood. I would have known. I would not have known about Kibler if it wasn't for 11 Bang Bang. Oh, there's lots of good videos about Kiblers even before we showed up, but you just can't beat it for the price nowadays. It's just
$1,000,000 over a Pedersoli. $1,000,000 over a Pedersoli.
Well, those foreign companies don't make that swamp barrel right. And a true swamp barrel flintlock, you can't beat it for the feeling. It just it feels.
It is amazing.
Part of you. 18 or Jared.
It's that really long rifle. It makes it feel like it's this long in your hand. Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
The snapper just opened up a manufacturing, call it Harper's Ferry, and you can just make muzzleloaders.
And just start making them.
You start making them.
Anybody who knows me, I built everything around me by not manufacturing, but being a business owner, and I would rather die than own a business again. Far rather die than own a business again.
Oh, come on. I want to see Harper's Ferry of the Desert.
Oh, God. Don't get me wrong. There's the times I'm sitting back where, it'd be really cool to make. Because some of this stuff would be really easy to do with just a good CNC machine. I just wouldn't make a lot of it. But
you can't tell me you're not in manufacturing mode because you spent all afternoon telling me about how you're going to start making 5070 brass.
That's a secret.
The
problem I run into is I get excited about it, and once you start making it for a while, and then you have orders line up, and then you start doing it all day long, just doing the same thing over and over again. And then you start coming in with people who are whining about the dumbest things that don't matter. It's not even really a part of what you did. Then you just lose your mind.
Just make it for me and Jake. We'll test it for free. Let you know.
That's probably good enough. And then I'll let you guys sell your used bits to people.
Yeah, sell used brass. Okay, Jared 1860 said, I lived in Harper's Ferry for a few years. It's a sad joke. Todd B said, I live near Harper's Ferry and would happily take you all on a tour of the former factory site. MPS, National Park Service, recently acquired land where some of the buildings stood. Oh, that's interesting. Harper's Ferry, Rivera said, Harper's Ferry Armory and the new technology, the challenge of change by Merritt Rose Smith is a great overview. I'll look into that. Todd B said the land previously owned by a railroad. Gots Loco said Harper's Ferry ability to be progressive is all John Hall and the rifles works. These muskets were a mess. It is, but it also goes back to the French. I can't remember his name, but there was some French influence into the Harper's Ferry Armory. Todd B said...
Well, that's got to be certain, too. If there's a lot of innovation, there's a lot of mess with that, too. You never get anything perfect. You're usually kind of in a more of a rush than to try to get it perfect. Perfect is like the third or fourth iteration, not the first or second or even third.
Yeah. But it's just no joke that Harper's Ferry, they were just far more open-minded than the military-led, well, sometimes military-led Springfield Armory, depending on when it was. like I said, they were built on a river. They had this bright idea to build Springfield Armory on a hill a mile away from the river, and to this day, I still don't know who made. Well, Washington made that decision, but yeah, that set them back a little bit. You guys a long way up and down the hill, a mile hauling iron.
You know what's funny? You hear things that make common sense. Like, hey, if we're going to build a manufacturing plant, we put it on a river. Well, like my entire time in the military, you hear things like you never build a base in a bowl. You don't want people above you. But every single base I ever went to overseas, like in a combat zone, was built in a bowl.
Yeah.
Like never, ever did they teach you one thing and they always did another. So
windy up there.
Trust me, it makes sense that it would be up on a hill. Makes complete sense because it's much easier to just tell some idiot to go roll it down the hill and go put it in a boat than it should just build it by a river because that's going to be like $10 more to buy the land by the river.
Well, they were also set back because they're up there at Springfield. That section of the river tended to go low in the summertime, and so until they
but
steam engines, they were out of luck. Sometimes they just didn't have no power. Let's see.
I'm just telling you, things that make sense doesn't always become the thing that actually is supposed to make sense.
Yeah, well, it was
for the federal government. If what you're doing makes sense, you're doing it wrong.
It's not. Yeah, you're doing it wrong. Yeah.
Well, I do know what the original idea was. It was originally a powder storage facility, and they built it on the hill to have better field of view of fire for the British during the Revolutionary War. But when you're going to build the armory, you don't have to build it like literally.
You don't have to build it right there.
You own the.
Yeah.
They bought the river. They just didn't build it down there. Yeah, Carson. This is a straw bowler. This one's from Historic Emporium. It's not the most expensive. I got an idea for a John Bull flat or a John Bull top hat that I really want, but I gotta find the right one.
My Arthur Morgan has that same hat as you, Garrett.
Oh, yeah.
Exact same hat.
He's gonna become some John Bull.
Yeah.
Well, you know who John Bull was? He was the Duke of Death. The Duck of Death.
The Duck of Death.
Let's see.
You know, that's one thing about back in the day when I used to text Duke. I used to not do it on purpose, but I swear to God, my autocorrect would always change Duke to Duck. And I wouldn't notice it for a while.
Oh, don't worry.
So I'm like, hey, Duck.
He's famously known around here as the Duck of Death or Dookie.
Dookie and the Duck of Death.
Okay. Yeah, Kerry Sotomayor don't think he could fit in his clothes from 1998. Carson said he loves the Kef. He's got a CS Forager cap. Revere 30311 says Garrett and Duke, y'all getting into Indian Wars reenacting. No, I am. Duke's been in it for 15 years, so.
Well, not quite that long.
You were
I did fur trade reenacting for 7 years, 7 years, 6 years, something like that. And then when I went to Fort Laramie, I started getting into the Indian Wars era.
Yeah. I started doing reenacting in 2006, but what we were doing was very 1950s Western. It wasn't reenacting. It was just Wild West show stuff. And I always wanted to do the more detailed stuff, and Duke happened to be coming to the fort that's not very far away from me doing it, so I just kind of forced myself upon him and said, I'm going with you. And I tell you what, there is nothing in the world like it. All the action in the Barbie West shows in the world can't replace living in the buildings and with the people that actually care about the history for a couple days. That's way better, in my opinion.
And
I am jealous. I want to do that so bad.
What I do isn't really so much reenacting. It's like reenacting, you're redoing an event that took place in some particular point in history. So out back east where it's Civil War, yes, that's reenacting. They are redoing the battles that took place. Out west here, we're not reenacting because people really don't get excited when you ride through an Indian village at dawn, that kind of stuff. The only Indian Wars reenactment that I can think of is Custer's Last Stand, where they go in and wipe out Custer. And but we do what's called living history interpretation. So we call them encampments. We don't call them reenactments. We call them encampments because we're just playing day-to-day, general, whatever. You know, we've all got our own backstories. Yeah, there's a military side to it, but they're not going out and reenacting a battle. They're just going and doing the everyday things. They're going through drill in the morning, drill in the afternoon, doing fatigue duty, taking care of their gear, you know, that kind of stuff. We're not going out and lining up and redoing Pickett's charge or anything like that.
Well, around here, you know, speaking for the, I guess the, you know, some of the largest events have been stuff like, you know, big anniversaries of Gettysburg and Chickamauga and stuff like that. But now, straight up, I think it's probably, at least in the past when I was doing this, there were probably more living history encampments demonstrations than there was battle reenactment. If you go to somewhere, Shiloh National Military Park, you know, they don't allow a reenactment on the ground.
Right.
But they do a living history encampment. You know, everybody, when they fire the cannons and they fire the guns, it's all in the same direction. You know, and then there's another we used to have here that I was a whole nother level. You know, you had reenactments that were a little bit more authentic. And then you had some that had to halt to charge for a red light and for somebody to stop traffic, you know. And I've been in those too, you know, in a restaurant or whatever. But, you know, there was two that was really, really something. And that was the one that I really wanted to do and I never got to do. And that was a tactical where you were set loose, you know, two opposing forces set loose in this area, defined it like a weekend. And it was left up, you know, your command structure to figure out where the enemy is, devise a plan to beat them. And it was, you know, not submersive. It was immersive.
Right.
And what I really wanted for the less Farby people were mainly.
Yeah, it'd be cool. It's
Yeah,
like
that sounds
19th
like
century
war games.
war games. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would actually be cool because you'd really learn the tactics much better than you would just in living history.
And it's like,
that would be pretty cool.
There's different levels of it too. So like, yeah, like you got the Gettysburg, those reenactments. You got the living history, like what we did out here, where, you know, it's for the public, mainly for the education of the public. And then Plowboy's just describing the campaigns. Those aren't really for the public. Those are for the people that are there to partake in it. And that's like your high level, high tier stuff. And I'd like to get into that one of these days, but there's not a lot out here for that.
No.
Tactical weren't for spectators either. They weren't welcome. It wasn't open to the public.
Yeah. So Sheldon, you've been doing this for what, 2 years now, almost?
A year.
Yeah. Yeah, I gotta say that from what I can tell, for only being in this for a year, you're one of the more advanced. Been in it for a year.
I gotta make my stuff.
Yeah.
And I got the eye of detail. It gets me mad when it doesn't look right.
Yeah. And that's the thing about, you know, like fur trade era. That was something that I had to make a lot of my stuff, and that's one of the reasons I got out of it. Is just it's expensive to keep doing, you know, those older eras. But yeah,
you're saying you can't jump on your Lakota treadle machine and make something.
I thought about it. Like, my sister got the sewing machine. She ain't using it.
Oh, that's good. Let's see. But yeah, that's what we've just been doing, is running around doing that kind of, and like I said, it's just so night and day different between. I came back home and everybody was asking me, "Are y'all getting ready for the show this September and everything? Getting your horses geared up and everything?" And I was like, "Nope. I'm going back to Fort Larned. I don't care if I'm the only one that goes. I'm going back, and I'm going to get around with those guys and just sit around in the shade all day." Talk to people.
If I was to go, I would definitely have a teepee or something that'll keep me warm because I'm tired of going through these things freezing ass.
You want a teepee that reaches the ground?
Need a teepee and a little liner for the inside so I can at least stay somewhat warm.
You could have took that spot in that pyramid tent. It was nice and toasty in that thing.
Well, it's Indian Wars reenactment, not World War II reenactment. Okay.
Oh.
First step Duke took it was a fart. So I was like,
You just gotta stay downwind or upwind, not downwind.
He can win and then enclosed.
Stay downwind. Oh my! Oh, Kerry Stottlemyre said, Doug Dukes just okay. He's talking about what he's gonna do there. Doug Dukes wants to know if Duke, are you going to do the Johnny Reb short again?
Yeah, I was thinking about that the other night. The Tales of Trails podcast has just taken up a lot of my creative time. Because I just finished a couple days ago. I just finished the script for Fetterman Fight, and that one's going to be another long episode. I don't remember what I left off on, but I think it was like 6 or 7 pages. So we're looking at a 30 to 40 minute episode. But yeah, I was thinking that after I got done, it's like, yeah, I haven't done any of those funny Johnny Reb skits for a while. I was sitting there trying to come up with some ideas, and I got a couple of ideas that I'm going to try to use on there, but it's going to be a little while yet. And my actual Johnny Reb hat, this one, I don't think I've ever worn this one or used it in anything, but this one doesn't exactly fit my head right. This is a jean cloth kepi that I bought off a guy. He said it was 7 5/8. I think it's actually about 7 1/2. So it just don't quite sit on my head right. But my forage cap I've misplaced. I got to find it. But one of these days I'm gonna get them going here because I also want to do the little Ranger battalion too. Got some ideas for them.
The Ranger, but oh yeah, the peg leg pig video.
Yeah. Georgie and Jimmy and the captain.
That'll be good. Mill Creek Range said, "Gotta go, guys. Got a date with Delta early tomorrow morning. Good night, everyone. Well, have a good flight." Revere 0311 said, "Good night." Arizona Frontiersman said, "Why is it called a swamped barrel?"
Well, it was found in the swamp. No, it's cut in the middle, so it kind of has that depression, and it kind of gives it that swampiness.
I don't know why it's called swamp, but that's what. Yeah, it's.
That's what I was told personally. It was cut in the middle, so it has. It looks like it's got if you laid it flat and you're looking on it, it'd look almost like it had a. It would be a swamp there if you were. Yeah. Yeah.
And you will never, Salvatore, you say something? I'm sorry.
No, I just unmuted my mic. I had to talk to somebody real quick.
No, I can't explain it to you, but if you've ever handled like most of your Hawkins and stuff with the straight barrels, the heavy barrels, and then you handle a swamp barrel, it's night and day difference.
Yeah.
It's just
so much lighter in the middle.
It does not feel like there's a barrel out there past your forearm. You know, it feels like you're holding a carbine, even though you're holding a 38-inch long rifle.
Yeah, It really balances the weight out very nicely.
Mm-hmm. They're really skinny.
Let's see. They're just talking back and forth with each other. Was that for weight relief? It was, but it was mostly just for the balance. It just, like I said, you don't understand until you hold it in your hand. Even the stock does it too. So when you hold it in your hand, you understand why they did what they did.
It's one of those things that brings the point of balance more center to the middle of the gun, whereas, like Gary was saying, you put a Hawken on there, it's going to be really front heavy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to hold up a front heavy gun with one arm. But you bring that weight more evenly distributed, and then you're balancing the weight on both.
It was done in the era of your more customized, the golden era of the flintlock, where you had your little gun shops and people making these things one at a time. When they got into the era where like the Lehmans and the Hawkins and some other stuff where it becomes more industrialized, they don't have time to fit that barrel down like that and then fit it into the wood. So that's when they start going to just a straight barrels. And right above my shoulder here, I have a straight barrel 32 caliber Plains rifle that is 1 inch across the octagon flats, and it weighs 16 pounds, and you feel every bit of that across the front of that gun.
I used to have a Dixie Gunworks. I used to have a Dixie Gunworks Tennessee rifle.
Yeah, flintlock, and that thing is skinny but heavy.
Oh, was it swamped?
I have no idea. In a couple years since I've had it.
Yeah.
Well, those ones that were swamped, that usually if you took the stock off, it's actually really easy to break the stock because it's so skinny. Kind of makes the strength of the rifle having both together.
On that Kibler Southern Mountain Rifle, believe me, I know because I've done it. If you take the barrel out of that dude and you hold it by the thin end, it will break under its own weight. That's how thin that stock is. But when it's in the barrel with all those pins, it makes no difference because it's just part of the gun. The barrel is the support.
Makes it nice and strong.
Like I know my Pedersoli Pennsylvania rifle is lighter than that Dixie Gunworks one was. So I don't know what was with that Dixie Gunworks.
You were going to pick one of those Kiblers up, weren't you, Plowboy?
I was just thinking, and I still want to, and it hit me like a ton of brick. How much 500 JR8 PFR? I could have bought that and still bought another. I could have done. But I really wanted that. Yeah, but I do have every intention to get a 50 caliber wood. Seems like something I'd
I think you would too. You would. I'm going to tell you, I watched your other flintlock videos. Believe me, I've watched mine. Any problem you think you have with flinching, it will be helped a ton by using that Kibler lock. Because I always said it too. I was always like, oh, I'm just a terrible flincher, this and that. And then I got a good lock that was like that fast. And then I was like, oh, I can shoot this, but I can't shoot. I still can't shoot those other ones very well. But it's like, it takes a, it helps you a lot.
When Jake came down here, go ahead.
I think it was a Frontier. I can't even remember what it was. It was 54 caliber. You know, on the first 2 or 3 days of deer season, well, which we have a 5-day early muzzleloader season, but on the first 2 or 3, I had a chance at a deer. I know it was at least 2 times. I missed every single time. But it made me sick.
Well,
I don't think.
Well, one guy was asking what causes people to flinch with the flintlock, and I remember your comment was it could be the bomb going off in your face, the 4th of July shower work right in your eye. Could be several things that can make you flinch with a flintlock.
When Jake came down. When Jake came down, I shot his Woods Runner with the slow motion on. He actually posted on his video, and you'll see it. And I'm bad at flinching, especially if I'm shooting a lot of flint pistol and whatnot. Bad at it. When I shot his rifle, I was shocked because I didn't flinch at all, and it was only because of the rifle. It happened so much faster than the typical flintlock that there was no time to flinch. It felt a lot like a regular centerfire rifle.
Well, unless it's a musket, most of your import flintlock rifles, the locks are too small. And it directly correlates to how many sparks are in that pan, how fast that dude goes off. And so that's why when you get a proper lock, I couldn't believe it. It was just night and day for me. I was like, wow.
There ain't I know I want it.
Yeah.
Big time.
Are you building a breastplate down there, Sheldon?
No, I'm locking gates up right now.
Oh, gotcha.
Oh, that's what
that was.
I'm at work, so.
Okay, a couple comments here. Steven Sheets said, good evening, Garrett. Turkey Creek said, adios. Have a long day and an early morning. Well, we'll see you at Turkey Creek. Rights are not traditions. And I'm uploading a video showing the censorship of your live chat. I answered your question about how old Colt was twice.
Yeah, it didn't pop up. I didn't see it.
Did not show up. Back in the day, I said, which Kibler of all is your favorite? Well, I don't think Snapper shot but one. I've shot a couple of them, and I haven't shot the Colonial. I like Southern Mountain Rifle.
No, I shot 2, the Southern Mountain Rifle, and what was the other one that Jake has? The Pioneer? The Colonial, yeah. I shot both of them. They're both really nice. Really nice.
Jared Abrams said, my Kibler Woods Runner is in 50 is great. Feels like a glove and shoots straight. Yeah, Ethan loves his too. I mean, they just stack round balls at 100 yards. had a fella that he just said he was appreciative of the Springfield series and what I was doing. And he said to show his thanks, he was sending me a Pecatonic Hawken stock full length. So it looks to me like that's my next step. And I'm really questioning if I want to go with a 58 or a 62 caliber rifle. But I think a 60. I have no need for a 62 caliber rifle, but you know,
Do with it.
Plowboy says just get whatever you want, so that's what I'm going to do.
Mhm.
I don't have 500 JR8s either, but here we are.
Yeah, that's funny. 'Cause you just made that video before that about impressing the dirt and the trees, and then you told me you're buying that 500 JRH. I said, will the dirt and trees be impressed, or?
One just ridiculous, you know. In case, I mean, truthfully, it's not like it's not like I've taken the turret off of a tank and made it into a handgun, but it is a lot more than I thought it would be. As far as I don't know, you can really tell if you lighten off something big, and I like it.
Yep.
I like having something that people say, "What?" when you tell them 500 JRH. Oh no, I'm cutting grass, and and there's a lot of people around here that just look at you like you've grown a second head.
Well, you know what? You got it. If you got to punch through the car, you can punch through the car.
Problem.
And it's a lot lighter to pack around than a 50-90 Sharps, which is probably its equivalent.
Probably.
He showed me what the ballistics are. It is literally identical to the 1866 and 5070 ballistic.
Out of the 5.5-inch barrel, it'll be a 440 to 455 grain bullet, doing somewhere around 1350, but it can get a little more.
Yep.
If I want hotter, but I don't really need. There ain't no point in it.
Jake tested, because I haven't chronographed for a while, and when I did, I was on a little weaker powder. But Jake chronographed his 5070 the other day out of his 68 at 1390. And that's a 450 grainer. So, and that's probably the high end. So I think they are literally neck and neck. I said, you're running around with a buffalo rifle on your hip. That's just pretty cool.
That's when you got to shoot the grizzly bear through the concrete wall.
I've shot buffalo rifle.
Yeah. So how does it feel to have a buffalo rifle go off in just one hand?
Well, I ain't shot it with just one hand up there at the end. It's all right. I mean, it ain't the meanest thing on earth, I'm sure. So, I've held on to.
Yep. I think so. I think that I was just thinking about that because when you bought that, I was finishing the study on Buffalo Bill, and I was like, I wonder what he would think if he had 5 or 6 shots of that in a handgun on his hip instead of one in a huge long rifle. I bet he'd have thought that was pretty cool. Let's see. We have a few more comments here. Jay the Brave said, good evening, gentlemen. Would you please say hi to Apollo? He's a junior muzzle loader. Hi, Apollo.
Howdy. Oh.
Rights Not Tradition said they simply ship everything I do on every platform instantly. They have for a long time. That's interesting. Huh. Definitely not all coming through.
Yeah.
Back in the day said, I've been looking at in 1 and 54 just because we have muzzleloader elk season out here. Bad Tortilla said 62 smoothie is the best for versatile work. Yeah, I've got about 3 of them. I want a 62 rifle. I want to really pack that in there and make that big round ball crack coming out of there. I think that'd be cool. Turkey Creek was showing me some statistic. Yeah. He was showing me some trade ledgers. And it seems that 54 and 58 were by far the most common fur trade era guns. So I kind of thought about that for a minute, going back to 58, and then I thought, yeah, everybody's got one of those. I got to find a 62 caliber barrel. Timber Drifter said, I've been listening for a while now. Thanks for the show, fellas. Good to see Plowboy joining you. Jay the Brave said you made his night. He has a Traditions cap lock, and he's pretty proud of. Oh, those are good starters. Those are really good starters. My little brother started on one of those too. What was your first muzzleloader, Plowboy?
First muzzle loaded rifle or long gun would have been a Europe 82 Van Enfield.
Oh yeah, did you pick it up when you started reenacting? Then not when you were younger.
I used to go since I would go back and pick up, drop off my kids that lived up in Michigan. I would go through I-65 a whole lot, and War Trace is just a little side trip off I-65 south of Nashville. And I went and picked that up in person. And just about everything I have went and picked up in person.
Nice.
What's your favorite muzzleloader then, JP Murray? Your go-to? I think I asked you that already, but
yeah, I guess it would be. You know, I like the idea of the PP3 Infinite. Everything. The only that I have with the is that I wanted it to be. Even though I did kill a deer with it, but it wasn't a far shot. And, I could have killed that one with a hand.
Well, didn't you know those Civil War muskets aren't ethical for killing deer? Not powerful enough, not fast enough.
Oh God.
Awesome. Oh, I know.
I get that all the time nowadays. Oh, 45, 70, 58, mini balls, whatever. Those things aren't any good. They're too slow.
Everybody knowing any better. That's a.
Yeah.
I hear the same thing about 30-30.
Oh yeah, 30-30 just.
It's just too small, no good.
You know, I took a buffalo out with one, so hey, you know, it's a good round.
You did. You killed a buffalo with a 30-30. So, you know, I would love to see certain channels you'd be able to tell them that they wouldn't believe you.
Mm-hmm.
When they say
I think people have gotten way. Yeah, go ahead.
When they say 45-70 is not an ethical deer round, I always have to stop and where have we come? Where are we going here? What planet have we arrived on at this point where full power black powder 45-70 is no longer an ethical deer round?
Give it another 100 years and 50 B&G will be an unethical deer round because it just won't kill a deer.
Oh. Let's see. Are you about ready? Snapper had to go here in an hour and a half. Can you run?
Yeah, I might have to get going really soon.
You're in another 12 minutes, Snapper, and we'll shut her down?
Yeah, I can hang on for then.
Yeah, we'll go to an hour and a half. So if you guys got any more comments, throw them out there, and we'll shut this thing down here in about 12 minutes. We've been running 50 plus in here most of the evening. I haven't been watching real close. Let's see. Rights or Not Tradition said, read the description if you check it out. If you all didn't see my comment, that shows the level of the algorithm. Okay. Timber Drifter said, as far as I've seen, deer haven't started wearing armor. Yeah, that's one of my all-time favorite Jeff Quinn videos was where the guy told him that birdshot wouldn't penetrate a pizza box. And he said, I don't know where they're making pizza boxes out of where you come from, maybe cast iron. But down here, birdshot goes through them pretty easy.
Pretty easy.
Oh, if you don't know what was that one? If you don't know who Elmer Keith is, go watch a Glock video. This channel ain't for you.
I love Jeff Quinn. I'm Facebook friends with his brother both, and I think highly of those folks.
Oh, and people can't get after them because they've just been around so long, you know. And some people have tried over the years, but they'll just come right back with, we got the experience. I can tell you this date, this happened, this. And it's hilarious because it'll never failed. Somebody would say, well, I saw a ballistics gel test. And Jeff would always come right back with, I don't know anybody made out of ballistics gel. I don't know anybody made out of chronograph. I don't know anybody made out of ballistics gel. I always love those answers because those guys that are so hardcore, you know, the modern shooter guys, they just don't have an answer for that. But
talking about how to shoot a heavy hard kick bore revolver, he said, you know, talking about using a modified weight stance and talking about how to properly let the gun come on back, you know, so it don't hurt your wrist. And he says, but now if you one of them Tactico people and you get down there and you stance, you head.
Yeah, gonna hit you every time. That's what I love. I got this short barrel 500 Smith & Wesson for if you're going into grizzly country or you got a mean wife. I love Jeff Quinn. I miss him. It's just those guys, and we all grew up around them. That if they met some of these internet gun guys today, they would just look at them like you said, like they got two heads. Because you can give me all the paperwork and the statistics you want, and all the computers and chronographs and ballistics gel. We done shot the deer last week. We know what it'll do.
Exactly right.
Let's see. Yeah, I just thought of that. Timber Director, you reminded me of Jeff Quinn. He said they ain't wearing body armor yet. Back in the day, said my first loaner was from my uncle in 1974, made in USA, CVA 50 or 45 caliber. The first I purchased in 1994 was a 54 caliber and vest arms with Cabela's roll stamping. I think they called it the Ridge rifle. Yeah, I have one of those CVA mountain rifles made in USA right up there. Travis Lynn said, you all convinced me to shoot my first Gen Colt single action army last week. I put 15 rounds of 35 grains of black powder. There you go. Nice.
Nice.
Is that your go-to?
I think with the modern hunting, I think it's people are more used to having their rifles that shoot long distance, like 400 yards and 500 yards, and sit in a stand all day.
Yeah.
Everybody wants a 6.5 thing.
Yeah.
Well,
and they're shooting a deer at 45 yards from their deer stand. Yeah.
It's not really hunting anymore. It's kind of harvesting, but yeah, I always like it. Every year we get run over with deer hunters down here where we're at because we have so many big outfitters down in here. And every year I hear them talking about roughing it, and then they'll have their heater packs and their little electric battery going up in the stand with them. It's going to be rough and cold out there today, boys, with my electric heater and my completely sealed stand, and my blanket and my glove warmers.
Well, they're roughing it because they got to carry all that crap to their location.
Up.
Up.
I know some people would hate this, but they're talking about, and I know you already got this, Plowboy, but they're talking about putting in a non-baiting deal just for us, and I wouldn't actually hate it just to see these guys actually get out there and see what they can do.
They've actually looked up the thing here in Alabama over the last few seasons. If I'm not mistaken, you can bait now, but you're not supposed to be within inside of it or 100 yards of the bait. I don't. And here's the thing: it used to be count our game laws to be the same year after year, and they didn't complicate things. Alabama's state motto for was just get out and hunt or just hunt, because they wanted to, they could get in the field and take part. But I believe we have reported some game and fish people from up north that brought that crap for them, because now they mess with us every year.
Oh yeah,
they change. But now, there's a whole lot of people doing a whole lot of things, and I know people who might hunt a little closer to bait, but they're not unethical hunters. They will not hunt out of season, hunt in after dark or with a light or anything like that. But that corn, sometimes it needs defending.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of money on a corn pile, for the squirrels or what.
Mm-hmm.
And a deer comes up, I'm going to take them. I'm not.
Well, I'll tell you.
I mean, let's be honest though.
If you
deer hunting is just population control, right?
Yeah.
So, what does it matter? What does it really matter? As long as you get yours, you only get so many tags. As long as you don't take more, what does it really matter at the end of the day?
If you ever get to where the situation we're at, it's pretty bad. I mean, we have 10,000 acres either owned or leased for. I can't hunt one for deer. It does not exist, because right now to get in on a base level deer hunt in my county for a doe, you're talking $10,000 to start.
What?
Yeah, that's your $10,000, because every place is leased up by an outfitter, and those outfitters are paying $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a year for for this hunting lease, because used to, 10 years ago, it was huge hunting, big bucks, big, huge populations, hundreds and hundreds of deer every night. Well, they've hunted the big buck population down. They've took that gene out. But now, and what they got to where they do is you pay your $10,000 start. You go out when the deer feeder goes off, set 10 yards away from it, shoot 2 or 3, and then you go home. I was like, it gets a little ridiculous after a while. And if you live here, you're never ever going to have the opportunity to hunt deer here again. So I can see
that's
some
the King's
of those
deer,
regulations, but they're not going to change it because that's making a lot of money for a lot of people in my state. So they're never changing it. I kind of envy.
kind of reminds me of the English hunting before here. That's the King's deer. You got to pay your ransom to have that deer.
Yeah, because that's the deer.
Yep. And if you guys out there have the ability to get on a lease still these days or whatever, feel lucky because it's becoming a rich man's game very quickly.
Yep.
But it would be. And we, that spot we bought a couple of years ago, it's probably just a little over 20 acres, but I'm here to tell you, that thing is covered up with deer. It's out in the, it's way out in the county. Ain't no kind of problem with hunting around as long as you don't get up too close to the road. And we've got a 50 yard from the right of way of the road. That's fine with me. I'm hunting it, other direction. But, I hate to say it, everything out the door. I think we give $3,000 in a stupid real estate market. But I'm going to hunt there for as long as I live.
Yeah, right now, I'm working on getting a piece of ground, and that's one of the reasons is I want, somewhere that I can just look at all these guys and be like, I don't care if you've got 500,000 acres around me. This one's mine.
And we have to buy tags in Alabama. I can't tell you exactly what the limit is in Alabama this year because they've messed with me. But for most of my life, we've been able to kill one buck and one doe a day every day from mid-November until the end of January, and now they've gone into about the first weekend of February or February 12th, somewhere in that range. So we can take a lot of deer. People are taking all they want, and we still have a deer overpopulation.
Yep. That's time to get in there and do something about it. But if you ain't making them no money, that's all it is. That's the whole game right there.
With them, I mean, about to land, spend my corn pile.
Yep, you got to defend that. You absolutely do. Let's see a couple of more comments here before we go. Gossalica said 2520 was considered an adequate deer cartridge at one point. Probably.
So it's 22 Magnum. Just don't tell anybody.
Diane Houston, do you think the Pedersoli lock is slow compared to Kibler lock? Yes, I can tell you that 100%. The quality and the timing and everything that you get from there is Kibler's. I hate to say it, but Pedersoli can't afford to do what Kibler does.
I hate that Pedersoli has to throw all markings all over the gun still too. All that money and all you get now is just laser etching all over the gun.
Timber Drifter 2520 said, or 2520 was what my grandfather took his last buck with in 1978 in Elk County, Kansas. Yep. 2535 was the deer rifle of choice for people that had the ranch here for years. Deer and coyote, but they weren't shooting a crazy distance either. They knew how to get up on them. That's the skill of hunting, right? Get up on them. It's not just shooting. Let's see. Kodak Tackman said it was illegal to bait, period, in my area up till 4 or 5 years ago. Now we can more or less bait as much as we want, mainly because we were overrun with whitetail. The worst thing around here is the population was so protected that even with these, because, they would only shoot the big deer because people were paying so much money. Man, we got that chronic wasting disease in the last few years. It's just every deer. They're just stumbling around. Yeah. And I'm like, well, there's your hard-earned conservation for you right there. They won't let – nobody wants to shoot a doe. Yep. So,
I know here, if you get a deer, you have to report it to
Yeah.
The Rangers or that CWD.
Mm-hmm.
That was
Yeah. And where I was at up there in Wyoming, it was starting to get bad. Me and my buddy, where he lets me hunt at, we went out on his ranch. We was looking for sheds, and we found a couple of deer that had died right up on the river. That's one sign of chronic wasting disease. They always get close to water. And we didn't bring anybody or call them in because they were so decomposed. There's no way to tell at that point. But we're pretty certain they were CWD deaths.
Yep. Timber Drifter said, Garrett, sounds like you ought to head to Alabama to hunt. Yeah, before it got into big, I hunted so many deer, I burned myself out on it. I mean, before it became such a money game. And I was telling that to Plowboy, I said, if I don't ever shoot a deer with a modern rifle again in my life, with a full-length modern rifle, I won't really care because I just done it so much that if it's going to be handgun or muzzleloader from now on. It's just there's no fun in doing it with a scope rifle anymore.
I'm gonna do it with handgun and I get another muzzleloader, and then I'll probably do a little bit of both.
Yep. If you just add a little more challenge to. Oh yeah.
Me, I still hunt with a scoped rifle just because I don't feel like tracking. And some of the places I hunt at, you're not going to take a shot less than 100 yards. Now I got lucky; most of my shots have been under 100 yards, but
yeah,
that 80% of the time it's not going to be under 100. I don't want to have to track them real far, especially in some rough country. And I'm hunting for meat. I don't care if it doesn't have to be a big buck. It could be a fork buck. It could be a doe. I don't care. I'm wanting meat in the freezer so that I can have some deer once in a while.
Would rather have a doe.
Yeah.
Yep,
and I've not shot a buck. I've not shot a buck. I've only shot does. And I tell you what, that's the most tender meat. And also where I was shooting them on my buddy's ranch, he's got a lot of corn acreage, so they're good corn-fed deer.
I just got so used to. I just got to where they're, like I said, the regulations and the fighting between the hunters. We have hunters shooting at each other around here. That's how crazy it's got. So just stepping out of that and then just going back to just. I'm pretending like it's Tennessee in 1850. I got squirrels and I got rabbits and I got quail. It's like in those right then and there. I actually enjoy hunting those more, to be quite honest, because it's not so stressful. It's not such a big money game. It's not so stressful. And pheasant hunting is one of my favorites too. But I like just go out squirrel hunting.
My all-time favorite hunting is waterfowl. I love hunting geese and ducks.
Yeah. And that's another thing, not such a big money game.
Yeah.
Well, we better get wrapped up here so Snapper can go. A few more comments here and we'll go. 50 Tennessee CSA said, I just want a Mississippi rifle muzzleloader wise. Yeah, that would be a good one to have. Back in the day said 25-35 also used a nice round point that transferred energy well. I appreciate what you guys do. It's a fun time. I have to go for the evening. See you later. Kodak Tackman said, I'm stocking with the lever gun myself. And yes, the main goal is meat procurements. D said, what are the rules for squirrel hunting? For me, it's just don't hunt between January and June. And there's no bag limit. And you can hunt all year long, basically, except for that little springtime deal.
So why don't they let you hunt from January to June?
It ends January 31st, opens up June 1st.
See, that's weird. Like here in Colorado and same up in Wyoming, it runs October to into March.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people say that. In Kansas,
or end of February. Excuse me, end of February.
That deal on rabbit season, jackrabbit. I hunt jackrabbit all year long. So, Guns of the West said my favorite hunting is snipe hunting. Haven't seen one yet, but this will be my
He actually have snipe season in the Alabama book. No joke.
Yeah.
In the season book.
Yeah, we've got a snipe and what is the other one? Snipe and another little bird season. And I never hear about anybody hunting them. I'm like, well, I want to look up these birds. I want to know what they are. Freaking tiny little bird like that. And I'm like, what the heck? It's the size of
like a hummingbird, huh?
That wasn't the snipe that they was taking us hunting when we went snipe hunting. I guess.
Right, yeah. No, it's
I still ain't seen
Either
that,
way.
but I know it's a nocturnal animal that you got to go a long way to find. The deeper in the swamp, the better. All right. Okay, guys, we better shut her down here. Has anybody got anything else they want to say?
No.
Still waiting for somebody to kill a deer with a knife. Looking for a good old knife fight deer hunt.
Well, I'm going
That
to
would
put
be
Sheldon
interesting.
up to that. He could kill one with 3 knives all at once.
Ah,
No, the only thing I was going to point out tonight is if anybody's interested, these old historic cartridge boxes, go on eBay and get them.
no.
The 45 Colt does hold 45 Colt.
So- oh, Dustin, you guys laugh now, but I just know I'm getting one. And with that, we are going to shut this thing down. I want to thank Plowboy and, of course, Sheldon and everybody that came on. That was one of the most fun chats I had in a long time. We did let loose a little bit politically. But like I said, at this point, who cares? We could be gone tomorrow anyway.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
with that, trust in God, keep your powder dry. Bye.
But